Many times in life, we find ourselves having to apologize to people for something that we did. Maybe we were late, maybe we did something that was not okay in that situation. But knowing how to apologize correctly is a very important skill. You do not want to be insensitive. You do not want to say, I'm sorry in a way that shows that you are not really sorry. In certain situations, you also need to know how to respond when people apologize to you. Because when they apologize, they're making themselves feel smaller in comparison to you. And if you act superior, it will break the relationship. So in today's lesson, let's talk about how to communicate with respect to apologizing and responding to apologies. Before which, hi, I'm Ajeeth from Capshine. Capshine is a revolutionary learn-it-together English fluency program. With Capshine, learning English is easy, quick, fun, affordable, and effective. And we promise a whole new you in 6 months or less. Let's talk about a couple of things. When we apologize, there are essentially two ways in which you could apologize. You could apologize in a formal setting. You could apologize in an informal setting. For instance, if you were to say, I'm terribly sorry about something, this would be a formal kind of apology. I was waiting for your call last night, and Peter could say, I am sorry for not calling. Can we talk now? Or, I am terribly sorry for not calling. Can we talk now? A few examples of informal apologies. Well, you could say my bad or my mistake. Remember, my bad is very colloquial, meaning this is what you would use with friends. You wouldn't necessarily say that to your boss in a formal corporate environment. Unless you work in one of those cool organizations where you're in first name basis with your bosses. Raj says, you are late for the project submission. And considering Howard and Raj have very informal corporate relationship, he might say, my bad, I thought the deadline was tomorrow. Notice how it doesn't have that sense of sincerest apologies, right? It is not very formal. It's a very informal way of saying, I'm sorry. He could also say, my mistake, I thought the deadline was tomorrow. It is respectful, but it is more informal. Let's look at a few more examples. I apologize, or I sincerely apologize for. This is a formal apology. Your boss says, you missed the meeting this morning. And Prakash could say, I apologize for my absence, sir. Notice how the presence of sir includes that or is in the tone of the formality. My sincere apologies for my absence, sir. Again, this shows that you are being very, very formal. You might see people write this way in email. If you talk this way, when you apologize to someone, you're being very formal as well. You could also take it up a notch and use another formal expression. Please accept my sincerest apologies. This is usually relevant when you're talking to a customer or someone who is high value for your company, and you as a person represent a bigger organization. So you want to be as meek and humble as possible. You don't want to be arrogant here. Customer, the package I received was damaged, and Arun responds, please accept my sincerest apologies. How can we make it up to you? Again, because he's representing the company and he's talking to a customer, he wants to be as formal and as sincere and respectful as possible. You could also apologize by saying or using the phrase, owe you an apology. While you're not technically saying you're sorry, you're implying that you should be sorry, and that is considered an apology by itself. Tim says, you wrongfully blamed me for stealing your project. Alice says, I owe you an apology. I should have believed you. She could also say, I owe you an apology. I should have believed you. I'm very sorry. I won't do that again. That's also a way of apologizing. But this works just as fine. Another way of saying I'm sorry is probably to say, I didn't mean to do it. Right? This is when you have offended or you've done something without necessarily intending to. It was probably carelessness or unintended consequences. For example, your mother says, that was my precious vase. And Neil says, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to break your vase. Again, I don't think Neil intentionally broke it to hurt his mother. he probably was playing and it fell, whatever. So when it's an accident that sort of hurt someone and you didn't really mean to do it, then you would apologize with didn't mean to. You could also use the expressions, please forgive me, I feel terrible about it, I shouldn't have. Let's see how this is used. Kim, I don't want to talk to you, you shouted at me. So Reena says, please forgive me, I shouldn't have done that. Right? So this is a very sincere apology, it's heartfelt. Please forgive me. That's a very, very powerful expression. I feel terrible about it is another way to show that you are sorry for what you did. And again, you would do it with someone you're very close to, and if it's a matter of the heart. I feel terrible about it, I shouldn't have done that. Right? Shows that you're sorry and shows that you're not sort of arrogant and not holding back on your apology or not doing it for the sake of apologizing. How about when someone apologizes to you? How do you respond to that? Some useful phrases are, that's okay, no worries if it's informal, no problem, it's all right. All these are great expressions. You could also say things like, please don't mention it if it's a very polite or formal setting. It doesn't matter, don't worry about it. It wasn't your fault, don't sweat it. So don't sweat it is an idiomatic expression which means don't worry about it, right? There's also another expression called no sweat, which means the same thing. Again, slightly more informal, used more in casual conversations or casual text. No sweat, another way of saying don't worry about it, it's okay. You could also say things like, please don't let it happen again. If you want to be a little bit more formal and you really think that you were offended and you were owed an apology, you should be, but I forgive you. Slightly more stern, but this gets the thing across. If someone broke a boundary or did something that was not okay, and you want to make sure that this doesn't happen again, you want to use these phrases. Do not just say it's okay for everything. Depending on how bad the grievance was, how bad the offense was, if they apologize to you and they're well-mannered about it, be respectful but also set your boundaries. That's very important. I forgive you, please don't let it happen again. Again, a great way to respond to an apology. Let's check your understanding, shall we? Let's look at each of these questions and try solving them. Let's look at the first one. How do I apologize to a teacher for coming late to class? Which of these do you think is appropriate? Can I say, my bad, I am late? Can you talk to your teacher like you're a friend? Maybe in some context, but usually if it's a college or a school, you say that, you're probably going to get detention. I'm sorry for being late, how can I fix it? That could work. I apologize for being late, it won't be repeated. C is more appropriate. How can I fix it doesn't work here because, it's obvious. You fix it by not coming late. Instead, saying that it will not be repeated would be the better option. Second, how to apologize to your customer for their bad experience at a restaurant. In this case, let's look at different examples, but remember, because you represent the restaurant and a customer is unsatisfied, you want to be as respectful as possible. I'm sorry the food was not good. This would seem very rude in that context, right? Imagine you've complained to one of the people, one of the management in the restaurant saying that the food is not good or this is not up to my mark, and they just say, I'm sorry the food was not good. That seems as if they don't care about you. They're just saying it, they're just saying it to respond to you somehow. Please accept my sincerest apologies. How can we make it up to you? Food coupons or a refund, right? Again, this is a much better way to respond because one, not only are you being sincere in your apology, you also want to do something to make up for the inconvenience cost or make up for the negative experience cost. And this is a great tip for customer service. If you have actually done something or if a customer doesn't have the best experience and it's your fault, instead of just saying words, maybe you could do something to compensate them for it. So this would be the right way to apologize. We owe you an apology again, similar to A. The problem is it seems very mechanical. It doesn't seem like you feel that you're sorry. This is why on social media, when you when you see these tweets where companies have these automated messages, we're sorry for the bad experience you've had, you feel annoyed because you know they don't really mean it. They're just saying it because that's what they say. That's why it feels annoying. So when people apologize and it doesn't feel honest, it makes you much more angry than you were before. They just shouldn't have even responded in such situations. How to apologize to your friend for forgetting his or her birthday? Well, depends on your friendship, but if it's your friend and you really care about this person and they care about you, they are going to forgive you. You could say, my bad, I thought it was tomorrow, let me buy you dinner. This actually works. I'm sorry for being late. That doesn't work. You are not late. You forgot his birthday. Again, I apologize for being late. Doesn't work here because, it's the birthday that you forgot. You are not late for anything. How to respond to your friend who is asking for forgiveness? Well, if someone is asking for forgiveness, someone says, I'm sorry. How do you respond? You wouldn't say you should worry, right? It seems as if you're out for vengeance. No, I would prefer if you don't let it happen again. This could work. That's okay. Let's forget that. This is much better because he is your friend or she is your friend. You want to forgive and move on. If you're going to hold on to grudges and say, don't do it again, usually that's going to put a strain on your friendship. It doesn't really work that way. You forgive, move on. That's how friendships work, I'm guessing. C is a much better response, depending again on the level of your friendship. Great. I hope you had fun learning this particular lesson and also you find it useful. Do try out these apologizing and responding to apologizing phrases. See how it changes your conversation. See how it builds your relationships with people. And let us know. To check out your free trial, do go to capshine.com or download the Capshine app from the Play Store if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.